I see setting up for the next game because we've got Eladea really playing to peg here in that we're going for a moon, so we're going very old school here.
Yeah, I have played this map though.
System X. It's, we're going old school. We're going peg last stand. So, do you think that this is going to make a difference now? Because we saw in the first game, for example, that Eladea raided you quite heavily, and I think moons, with their lack of terrain, favour a raid-heavy play style. Do you think that's going to weight in his favour, or do you have the measure of that now?
I think I should be fine.
So on a moon like this, then, does your playstyle change significantly from some of the more CSG heavy maps? Is this going to be we're going to see a lot more bots, or is it a case of it's played pretty much the same as you would normally play any land map?
Yeah, my playstyle changes. It's gonna be more bot heavy.
Well, this is your match point for you. So do you think then that you could take this a 3-0 sweep to take the title of King of the Planet?
I hope so, but Eladea has probably a lot of experience on map like this. So it's gonna be tough.
Okay, well, good luck to you in Game 3, Oxide, and let's make it a good one, and we will see you on the other side.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are setting ourselves up now for Game 3 of King of the Planet 13 with King Eladea 2-0 down against Challenger Oxide Ion. These are the first games that he has ever lost in King of the Planet, in fact. So, as we launch into this third game, I'm going to hand you back over to our casters, AndreasG and Alpha2546, to walk you through this game.
Welcome to King of the Planet 13, again brought to you by eSports. We're here in Game 3 between Oxide Ion and Eladea. This is a best out of 5 event where the loser chooses the next map. Oxide Ion currently in the lead, winning the 2 first games, and he needs one more to bring home the victory. I'm AndreasG, and I'm joined here by the amazing, beautiful Alpha.
Thank you, Andreas. And the players already have chosen their spawns and they're spawning in, so would you do the introduction, Andreas?
Yes, spawning in here in the light blue as usual, we have Pag Eladea, our current king, challenged by on the other, not other side, but on another spawn, I guess, Oxide Ion in what color is that? Brown, yeah. Wow. Both players opening bots.
Snow purple.
Yeah, we are currently on the System X, and as you all see, it's a barren moon, and we're gonna see heavy docks play.
Oh, this system takes me back to the old times where you just have like a bare moon and you'd go like darks only. You try to like prison your opponents with bots.
Yeah, for those of you who don't know, the system is from a time where symmetrical metal spots in CSG were not a thing. So it's quite interesting. Both players had the opportunity to choose between 2 spawns, and they find the current one most fitting, so that's why they are where they are at the moment. You want to take us through the opening build, sir?
Yeah, so they're going bots, and what interests me is that their Oxy is going bots, and he's spreading them out pretty heavily. Like I think he's patrolling the whole planet, or no, he's not. He's just having.
He don't know where Eladea is, and he hasn't scouted him. So
Eladea on the other side, he knows.
Yeah, he goes straight for it.
He knows.
He do have the ear though, and Oxide Ion doesn't.
Yeah, and. Yeah, well, Eladea has spotted Oxy, and what surprises me from Oxy is he isn't going any F for now. He's going 1 F factory over here in somewhere in the future, I don't know when. Well, Eladea already has his F factory up, and those bombers can do some good stuff against those bots, those ducks.
Yeah, what I would like to see is Eladea switching over to more heavy, either bombers or air fabbers, and really taking advantage of the fact that Oxide Ion doesn't go air before the 4th factory, which is kind of late, I would say.
Yeah, but we do see Oxy's expansions.
Look at this nomad fabber here.
That's so sneaky.
Oh, bomber is on the way though. Is he gonna spot it? And all that traveling time, the whole journey can be for nothing.
Elodea is smelling this feather.
And it's micro dodged.
But how long can you micro this? That's just the reason.
He needs to snipe that bomber with the one fighter that's coming in.
Fighter comes in and it gets shot. So he knows he can't save that. He can't save that feather forever.
One more is on the way though. Can he do it?
He just keeps on dodging.
It's low. It's 6% and it's down.
And on the other side, we see some ducks passing each other by again, going like, "Hey, where you going?" "Yeah, I'm heading off to your base." "Oh, okay, I'll go and take a visit to your base then."
Oh,
we see
one fabber down.
And
2
another
fabbers down. Oh,
it's not good. Oh, and we see. Oh, he just manages to keep those 2 fabbers alive. It's really important.
wow, it's important. And 4 more coming in now. Was 5, but 1 was taken out. And
is he gonna lose the bombers? And he's losing the bombers too. That's pretty painful.
Wow. As we know, a very important part of this is intelligence, as it's a big open, and there's a lot of places where your opponent can be. So it's interesting to see where the players decide to place their radars and how they want to use their planes.
Yeah, this is going pretty fast because we have Elodea doing some dark raiding in the back, but it's not working. Oxy is countering it pretty well, but he's scouting. Elodea is scouting for some expansion going, and on the front, he's taking out those fighters with those dogs. That's a pretty good trade, I'd say.
And he's already behind an air. Oh, he's actually taking it back though, but still.
This is going pretty well for Elodea if we look on the economy, and Oxy struggling on some energy just a bit.
Yeah, as we have requested though, he needs to counter the explosion, the boom from Oxydan in the opening, and as we see in the economy tab here, it's actually LED is ahead, even though he's floating.
Yeah, but yeah, like you can see he's floating 33 metal a second, so that means Oxy right now is spending his metal better than Elodea, which is bad for Elodea, because he needs to take up on that lead. He needs to get some factories up and get stuff going.
Absolutely, we did see Oxydan raiding a max, taking down a radar and some doxes and a fabber, and I find it strange how this single laser turret is placed there.
What do you mean?
It's not in the action.
No, it's not. I think it's a
passive.
bit of a safe, because it's behind that metal extractor, so it's getting. So we have 2 confrontations basically. Oh no, Oxy's going around. He's gonna look for some more expansion of Elodea, which he hasn't over there. So that's time that's gonna.
This is interesting because now it's a window open for Elodea and he goes for it.
Yeah.
There are ducks to counter, but he's gonna try and push through.
This expansion, though, it might. It's really important because these 2 fabbers have been giving a lot of metal to Elodea, and right now,
wow,
Oxy just barely sees it. He just doesn't know yet.
This is what I mean about the intel game of a Barren Moon. It's all about like seeing those fabbers, because you won't see them otherwise.
I mean, this is going so well. We see the straight in the middle and
this stuff simultaneously. So both players raiding on each other's sides.
And the turret over here just got out for Elodea, and so it looks like Elodea is in the lead with these wins. They're tiny wins, but all in all, they're.
This game just swifting like a wind from side to side. Flag.
Oxy struggling.
Another fabulous for Oxy.
Okay, so we see basically Oxy struggling, and I think it's because of the choice of this T2 factory going up. Will it pay off? I don't think so.
He seems determined to finish it there. His commander a bit indecisive whether he should support that tier 2 or go out fighting. Now decides to bring his guns to the front instead.
I think Oxy has angered the king.
But let's see here though. I think I see the outskirts of 2 commanders trailing towards the middle. And it would be amazing to see a face-off between those 2 commanders between the bases.
That would be. You know what also would be interesting if one of the players starts reclaiming their commanders to get the T2 up better.
Indeed. Eladia might not be reclaiming the commanders, but his eco is actually tilting from side to side because of some reclaiming.
These economy numbers are insane though, because they're
his
bouncing
commander.
around.
Commander reclaim. No, he's not reclaiming the commander, but he's reclaiming with the commander.
Yeah, and there's more bots going up. This is a pretty brutal match, and we see some attack force from Oxy, and he's gonna take out those 2 Fabs.
A big push in the meantime, straight down the lane.
But the commander will be able to hold off, so LD needs to make sure to retreat really quickly. Retreat.
Can he get a Uber cannon?
He just did.
The bomber doesn't damage though, and that Dox Force is reduced to a not so frightening Dox Force.
Okay, I think LD definitely is in the advantage because he has the air game going up. Or he has the air game.
Yeah, and he's actually the one who's expanding as well, and I think that is a result of him having the air game, because he can be everywhere at once and he can respond to these ratings, and he can be the one who's expanding, and he's now ahead in eco.
Yeah, but this is what I mean, because if you look at Oxy's base in total, you don't see any AA. So, which means if you don't have air dominance, which he doesn't at all, because the amount of fighters of Eladea is nuts, and the amount of fighters of Oxy is none.
Absolutely. We see a huge switchover for turnover, whatever, for Eladea going for the Sparks now, instead of the Doxes.
I think that's a good choice.
It is a good choice, but it needs to be microed, because Doxes, as we see in the confrontation up here, have a longer range.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not too big, but it's there.
This raiding party needs to take care of though. That can do a lot of damage still. And he's sending all his bombers, I think, trying to take care of it, but I think only 3 or 2 is enough.
This force is chasing down a Faber, but the laser turret were actually the one who ended the short life of that Faber.
Okay, so basically LD has the air dominance and he's gonna raid this with those bombers.
That's a lot of air.
There's a lot of air.
And Oxygen doesn't have anything to respond to, but he do have the tier 2 up and the tier 2 Faber.
Hang on, his fighters are out of position. Or bombers are out of position. Oh. He's gonna lose this. Oh, he's retreating back. Yeah, that T2, I'm wondering if it's gonna pay off. It might pay off. This is gonna get really close because, yeah, right now, if he has like a T2 Faber, then.
Yeah, you do have a T2 Faber.
Yeah, but I actually meant the T2 metal extractor, then that's a huge win, because we don't see any T2 from Eladea, which I think... Did Eladea see the T2 factory?
Let's take a look. He did. Yeah, he has spotted the construction of it. We do not know it's finished.
Oh no, this isn't good for Eladea.
Oh.
The skirmish against those slammers.
This is crucial, because we have seen Oxygen pulled himself through some dirt to get that tier 2 factory up. He's offered a lot of map control, air control, all this stuff, and now he needs to make those slammers pay off.
Yeah, basically, and in the meantime, Eladea is just trying to raid that economy, but it's not really doing much, because the T2 metal extractor is already gonna give him so much metal. So who needs map control when you have T2 metal extractors, right?
Exactly. For those of you who don't know, those tier 2 extractors give you 20 metal, and together with the tier 1 it gives you 27 compared to 7 for the tier 1, so it's absolutely massive. Oh, we can see Eladea's eco starting to get a hit soon. I think it's quite strange the choice that Eladea made with his bomber, using it at the backside of his base rather than on the front side units here, the slammers and doxes.
Yeah, because kill those slammers efficiently and you have your whole army still alive, ready to do some work.
Wow, and suddenly, like 2 minutes ago it looked like Oxygen was the weaker one, but now it's quite the opposite here.
Yeah, the T2 is paying off. Oh.
ARM is raiding around the planet, and a lot of Eladea's energy has been taken down, and he calls it GG, and
GG.
Wow, he self-destructs.
Wow.
Wow.
What a game.
It's official, guys. We have a new king. All hail the amazing Oxygen.
Oxygen, the new king of the planet,
wow.
the new king of the PA.
So, this is big, guys. Just to set it into perspective, this is the 13th edition of King of the Planet. We've had 3 kings before. We had Eladia, we had Matisse, and we had Cole Caldin. So this is so big.
It's, new king after how many? Like, how long has Eladia been king? 2 years, I think.
Wow. Ever since he took down Matisse, and that was quite some time ago.
That was a very long time ago, and I think it's well deserved by Oxy, by this playstyle. The choice
Absolutely.
of T2 was so risky.
But he made it work. And creds for that. Yeah, I think we just have seen Oxidine being the superior player the last 3 games, really.
Yeah.
He's always been ahead, been doing the right moves, timing his tier 2, timing his expansion, so he's just been wearing a humble Eladia down, I think.
Yeah. We also, like, Eladia's sound definitely shaky after that second game. Was like, I don't know if this is I'm gonna win. Like, I don't know, he just didn't sound any confident, and I think that also just brought his gameplay, game style down a bit.
If you're planning on playing one of the best players in the game, possibly the best is the king, right? You can't have the attitude where you expect a loss.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta be on the offensive, you gotta be in the game, you gotta be ready for it. So yeah, just a good couple of games from Oxidine, just showing how strong he was. What do you think won him the game this time around, except from that tier 2 factory? Was it just the usage of the units? It did definitely seem behind.
I'm looking at it, and he definitely was behind, but like the T2 factory just gave him such an edge, and I think, to be honest, that Eladia might have overextended on his air usage, because the amount of fighters was way more than was needed.
Yeah, there's
Like,
nothing even close to contesting it.
Like, and if Eladia just had those bombers ready to bomb the slammers, I mean, there's no way A in bots, there's only the dark, so a good amount of bombs can do so much. Well, Eladia has only built it like fighters.
Yeah.
That is mostly fighters. And even at some point his bombers were completely out of position.
So weird though, because up until that point where that advanced bot factory were finished, I thought Eladia would have it. I thought he would win it.
Yeah.
But then everything just flipped.
Yeah. Those couple of slammers, like 3 slammers, that just did so much work against. I mean, the sparks against darks works well, but against slammers who massively outrange the sparks, it just snowballed completely the other way.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the middle of this, we do see Eladia with the air superiority, not using it on the slammers, which is a crucial thing as well.
Yeah.
Just using those bombers in the back of his planet, and it's getting sniped off instead.
Yeah, I do want to mention to all the viewers, so this we're still gonna play 2 more games, since it still is the best out of 5. So we're just gonna play those last 2 games for to see if Eladia still has some tricks up his sleeve. And shall we take it to Quitch so he can interview our new king?
Wow, I would love to get an interview with Oxidine now.
Okay, well, Quitch, take it away, I'd say.
Alright, well, thank you very much, gents, and thank you very much to everyone who's been watching. As they said, we're going to run games 4 and 5 for Honor regardless, but let us get Oxide in here, our new king. Congratulations, Oxide. Congratulations on taking the crown from our 1.5-year-old king, Eladia.
Thank you.
Not only did you defeat him, but you defeated him effectively on what I think is the closest he has to a home system, Peg's ever-favourite System X. So that's got to feel good, right?
Yeah, that was a hard game.
Well, we saw it. It looked for a little while there like you were on the back foot. You certainly seem to be getting the. You seem to be getting the better of the trades, but Eladia was getting the better of the economy, and there was a very risky tier 2 upgrade you took there.
Yeah, I felt like it was my only chance.
So was that? Did you feel you were on the back foot at that point, and then that was a bit of a desperate last chance to get in there and win it?
Yeah, I knew he was expanding everywhere, but I just couldn't find the Fabbers. And I think I got kind of lucky when he switched to Sparks, because they have less range, so I could micro around them.
Yes, that was an interesting switch up from him, moving over to the Sparks. So did you feel that made it easier for you? Especially at that point, I suppose he lost all of his ground AA once he made that change, and certainly you seem to get some more wins there with your own air forces against him. But do you feel that played into the hands of your micro, being able to keep your docks out of range of his Sparks?
Yeah, and because they were slower as well, like he couldn't be everywhere at once anymore.
Okay, so you're not a fan of the mass Sparks that go up against the mass docks, or is it a case of on a map like that where it's so open and maneuverable that you shouldn't make that switch?
Yeah, I don't think on that map it's a good switch.
Well, now you're the king and the undisputed king who has defeated on Eladea both land, sea, and home territory. How do you think that we're going to be seeing a long and fruitful reign for you? Is there anyone out there that you think is a real threat to your reign?
Not at the moment.
Spoken. Oh, well, that's what we like to hear. Already, you have taken on the role of the king. So you don't think I've seen from the Super Commanders, for example, as I said in our introduction, that you've won the 5 of the last 6 Super Commander 1v1 tournaments. So you haven't seen anything there that you think this could trip you up. You're feeling quite confident.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay then. Well, thank you very much for that. We're going to play the next 2 games out for Honor. We're going to pop you into your lobby and see if we can't get a quick word with Eladea.
Yeah.
So Eladea, I'm not sure if you're there. We'd just like to have a quick word about that game.
Yeah, sure.
So obviously, System X went for again. I'd say almost a comfort pick there. System X, home of PAG, as it were.
Well, yeah, I mean, I knew Oxide would be weak on the map, but I made mistakes.
Yeah, so I mean, early on, it seemed to us that you were losing the trades, but you had the better ecos. You were overwhelming him just with numbers and being everywhere. And then the turning point, I think, was almost he made a risky tier 2 move, and you made a switch to Sparks.
Yeah, that was the mistake.
Do you think the Sparks let you down on that map then?
Yeah, like I thought they would be good, but they weren't.
So it's not. Is it a case that they weren't good on System X, or you don't think Sparks are a good Dox counter?
No, it's just I can't do anything to his slammers with Sparks because they're so slow. Like he can just keep kiting me, and then I'll just lose all my Sparks basically.
So on that, again as well, you had air dominance for a while though, but there seemed to be a few instances where your bombers got a little out of position. Were you feeling that you were getting out microed there by Oxide?
Yeah, Oxide's just really good. He was like pulling me everywhere, and I couldn't control all of that.
Well, it's been a year and a half of a year and a half reign for you. Very long.
Mostly AFK.
Well, you've gone to a point where I think we've had a year and a half of you've had 4 King of the Planets in that time, where you've won every single one of them without loss. I might admit, might add. So, bit of a shock to see you go down 3-0, but we've got a couple more games for you to try and regain your honour. Do you think? Are we going to see the? Do you think you pull something out? Are we going to see some almost bizarre Eladea map here that Oxide's just never going to be ready for?
Do you want to see it? I mean, I'm kind of changing it a bit now so that it's more thematically fitting.
Oh, I see. There's some very last second editing going on, is there?
Yeah, pretty much.
But that it sounds like the perfect time, so I can't wait for that to crash and for you to lose your features, and for the next game for you to be crying. It'll be beautiful for us. No, I think we'll look forward to you. I'll leave you to finalising your map for Game 4 then, and I'm just going to have a word with our casters about that game. So thank you, Eldea, and good luck in the Honour games.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, Andreas, Alpha, welcome back again.
Thank you.
Eladea, our once king and now peasant, is tweaking his map, which is it's always the best time to do that. I think just literally just before you go to clone it. So I think well practiced is definitely the watchword for this game. But a 3-0 loss there for a 3-0 win, I should say, for Oxide, a 3-0 loss for Eladea. Are either of you surprised by that?
I was quite surprised because 3-0, that's quite of a big deal. But then again, I knew how strong Oxide Iron can be. And you've been making short business with quite some players lately, the last half year, sorry. I would say it's a bit unexpected, but it still was a possible outcome.
So I think I'm actually surprised because I definitely expected that the former king, the ex-king, would have taken like at least one game. But I don't know. Like if we look back, the first map Oxy chose, and he definitely played out of the hands of Eladea because Eladea obviously didn't know about that lake, how to get some naval in there. And the second game, Eladea played into the hands of Oxy because Oxy did mention that he knew exactly the game plan of Eladea's, that he was going T2 rush, and so Oxy knew what to do. So I was actually hoping the second map would have been chosen differently. Like I wouldn't have chosen a ranked map against Oxy.
Well, I think we saw in all three games refreshingly different styles from the two players. We saw bots versus tanks in the first one. We saw Eladea going for a pure tier 2 rush versus some more expansive play by Oxide. And then a bit of a reversal, really, in game 3, where it was Eladea playing a more of a macro game with Oxide on the back foot, then almost getting quite a quick tier 2 for a moon map, really. Seeing some very different play between the two players. I think, I don't know, from my perspective, I don't know how you feel about this, I think it's just that Oxide has shown that he can come out better whenever the two of them go up against each other. Oxide is coming out better in the confrontations. So even when Eladea is getting his economy lead, he's just not able to get a large enough one to make up for the fact that in their confrontations he's losing.
Yeah, and of these 3 games, I just have this feeling that he's the better prepared one. He kind of knows what Eladea is going to do, and he knows what he's going to do to counter it.
I don't completely agree with you, Quitch. I just think Eladea has lost the timings to T2 because the first game he never got up the T2 economy, which he really needed, and Oxy did. And that last game, he never went T2, even when he saw the slammers, he was like, yeah, okay, this is done. And well, he knew about the T2 factory that was going up, and he saw it, and he didn't respond it. I think those timings are crucial, the T2 timings. And maybe that's because of the Titans expansion, because T2 is more viable, and it wasn't back then.
Well, I feel
like
that
with vanilla.
I feel that Oxide and Eladea were on point with that one, where the switch to the Tales of Bots, the Sparks, was a mistake for Eladea. He thought he could. He had the ground game. He thought if he could push him with the Sparks, he could complete counter the docks and finish it off. And I think really he signed his own death warrant with that, because the tier 2 rush from Oxide, he was under so much pressure at that point. He was putting all his economy into it. Eladea was building up a bigger and bigger force, and then suddenly Eladea loses all ground AA, he's switched to all sparks, he's getting outranged, he's losing the trades, and he's not able to put the pressure on Oxide that he needs to punish him for going tier 2 like that, which is why I think Eladea had no tier 2 of his own, because he wasn't expecting that tier 2 to be a factor in the game.
Yeah, I find that a bit weird, to be honest, that he switches over to sparks, and as we saw, he had actually spotted that tier 2 factory was a thing. And knowing that, he changed up. I thought he thought that those sparks would be more effective against Doxus than they actually were. And then we were introduced to the slammers, which just totally wrecked everything.
And the slammers, especially against bots, like that's brutal. And like Eladea said, like the sparks don't have that much range, and slammers have, I think, even more range than a standard dog, so they can definitely just endlessly kite the sparks, and it's done. Like, what you can do about it, your army is done, and can't get a good death ball off with dogs anymore.
Well, we heard Oxide said that he doesn't think there's anyone out there who can challenge him now. He thinks that he will rule the roost for quite some time to come. Do you guys agree with that? Do you think that Oxide is as undefeatable as Oxide thinks Oxide is?
Absolutely not. I think there's several people out there with the right circumstances would have chances against Oxide. And he's far from unbeatable, so I think he's being a bit too cocky there, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw anything like that.
Yeah, I agree. I think Oxy definitely is beatable, but yeah, you're gonna need some good amount of practice.
Well, is this a sign that PAG is no longer the 1v1 titan that it used to be? 'Cause certainly, if I think about the competitors who could take on Oxide, it's not the PAG names that are among them. It's people from Realm, or even people from outside clans in general, not someone from PAG. I mean, who do you think is probably the number one competitor right now for Oxide?
It's a hard
You can name
question.
yourself if you want to, Andreas. It's fine.
Oh, no. But jokes aside, I think Alpha, for instance, for starters, gotta name my co-caster. He's an amazing player when he's up to it, and I think he would have, with the right amount of practice, he would have a good chance. And I gotta, of course, mention myself as well, as it would be a great challenge. I would have to practice, of course, but that would be fun. Except from that, we have players like Kusipko has been doing quite well recently. Admiral is always there practicing. I think he needs more practice before he's up for the task, but he's definitely there. We've seen Sankar, he can come up with some amazing games as well, but he's also a bit unpracticed. So a lot of players who, if it's the right timing, I think they can do good games against Oxide.
I think if Kizipko manages to keep doing some practice on the ranked maps and some custom games, I think Kizipko definitely has a good chance, because he's definitely getting better. Like we've already seen him changing the meta a bit because of locusts.